Hello, I welcome you to today's lesson. My name is Paul Williams Ofori-Jr. Paul Williams Ofori-Jr. Okay, today's lesson is for Basic 3. We are looking at science. Basic 3, C3, Class 3, Primary 3. Today's lesson is for you. We are looking at science. It could be that this topic, you have learned it in the classroom. Or could also be that today is the first time you are going to enjoy this lesson. So pay attention. Okay, so what are you looking at? We are looking at strand 3, that's systems. Now the indicator, let me read it for you. Identify organisms in a habitat and describe why they live in a particular place. So our main objective, what we want to achieve, is that we should be able to identify organisms in a particular place or in a habitat. And we should also be able to explain or describe why those organisms live in that place. So these are some of the key ways that we are going to look at. So the first one is organism. Organism is all about living thing. Organism means what? Living thing. The next word is what? Habitat. All of you, habitat. Habitat is a place where living things live. Habitat is what? A place where living things what? Live. I hope you get it. Now, the next word is what? Environment. All of you, environment. The last one, environment. So environment, what does it mean? Environment refers to the things that are around us. Our surrounding, the things that we can see around us. They form what? The environment. The next word is what? Ecosystem. So ecosystem is another term, and I believe you understand it. If you don't understand, let me explain to you. Ecosystem is all about habitats and their environment, how they are able to relate, interact with their environment. So if you see organism and how they are able to interact, relate with the things that are around them, that is what we mean by what? Ecosystem. The next word is what? Inhabitant. Inhabitant. Inhabitant too are living things that live in a habitat. So inhabitant live in what? Habitat. If you see animal, if you see a living thing in a place, in a habitat, that place or that living place is a habitat. But the animals that are living there, they are what? Inhabitants. If it is one, it is inhabitant. But if they are more than one, you say inhabitants. I hope you get it. So these are the key words that we are going to find in the lesson. I hope you understand it. Very good. Okay, now we have seen the key words. We know the reason why today we have this lesson, our objective. Now let's look at what we have. There are many different animals and plants on earth. All the animals and plants live in different places. The natural home of an animal or a plant is called what? Habitat. All living or all animals do not have the same habitat. A community of organisms, together with the environment in which they live, is called what? Ecosystem. An ecosystem is larger than a habitat. Okay, so what we are saying is that if you look around, there are many animals, there are many plants, there are many human beings, we are many, all living things. But all of us do not live in a particular place. We all have our natural place that we live. Human beings, we don't live in the sea. We don't live in waters. Plants also have a place where they live. Fish, they have a place where they live. You get it? But we are all what? Living things. So what we are saying is that the natural home of an animal or a plant is called a habitat. So where you see plants, where you see animals living as their natural home, that place is called what? Habitat. I hope you get it. Now the next thing that you should also know is that there is something called what? Ecosystem. Now let's look at ecosystem. It's a community of organisms together with the environment in which they live. So ecosystem is larger. You go to a place, you see trees, you see water bodies like lake, you see pond. In the pond, there are animals that live in the pond. The animals in the pond cannot live in trees. The same way you see animals living on the land, the animals on the land can also live in water bodies. But in that place, all these animals can be found there. We call it ecosystem. And they interact with the environment. You see soil, you see air, there is air over there, there is water over there. These living things interact with them. They get the sun, they get air, they get water, soil, and that is the more reason why these animals are there. It helps them to survive. So anytime you hear about ecosystem, we are talking about living organisms, how they are able to interact with the environment in which they live. That is what we mean by ecosystem. So now let's look at something here. If you look at this picture carefully, what do you see? We have different animals here, and then we have plants. Look at this animal. Look at this animal. We have trees here. We have land. We have water body. So these environments, this is an ecosystem, because we have different animals or living things living in different habitats. So if you see this is what? This is what? Water body. This is water body. Have you seen it? We can find fish here. The fish that we can find, we cannot find fish on top of a tree or in a tree. There is no way fish at this side can live on top of a tree, or there is no way fish can come and then stay or live on on land. So you see, the animals on land, they live on land. Animals in water bodies, they also live in water bodies. Those that live in the tree also live in in tree. So if you go to a place where you can find different habitats where all these animals are there, or where all these living things are there, we describe the place as ecosystem, because we can find different habitats and different inhabitants. Animals in those habitats or living things in those habitats are called inhabitants. So we say ecosystem is bigger, is larger than a habitat. Here, let's look at the habitat that we have. Habitats, we have those that live on land. So they have theirs as the land is their habitat. Let's come to this side. Those that we see in water, they also have water as their habitat. We have animals. Look at butterfly and other birds. They also live in trees. So they have the trees as their habitat. All these things come together to form what we call the ecosystem. I hope you get it. Now let's look at these ones. These are animals and their habitat, meaning animals and where they live, their natural home. Look at this, bird in a tree. Look at this. You always see birds in trees. You can't see bird in water. So a bird is a living thing. A bird is an inhabitant, and they live in a habitat. The habitat is air or in tree. Let's come to this side. What do you see here? This is fish. This is frog. And I believe you know fish cannot live on top of trees. So fish, they live in water. So fish and frog in a pond. The pond here is a habitat for these animals. I believe you are understanding it. You are getting it. Okay, so now let's look at the next one. This, let me enlarge it for you. Okay, so this is an animal, a camel, and this is a plant. These animals are able to thrive or live on deserts. They are able to thrive or live on what? Deserts. You see, not every animal can live on deserts, but these animals can live on deserts. And look at this plant. This plant is called what? Cactus. So camels and cactus on deserts. Yes, so if you go to desert places or places where you see camel, mostly those places are desert, and you find these plants there. Okay, so it means that on deserts it's common to see camel, and it is also common to see living things like what? Cactus. I hope you get it. Now let's go to this side. What do you see here? So we have plants on what? On farm. So if you have a farm and you have plants on it, it means that plants like this cannot live in water bodies. They live on farms, on land. Okay, the next picture is a rat in a hole. Look at this. Look at these rats. Yes, rats are also found in holes. You cannot see rats on top of a tree, because that is not the natural home. Their natural home is the soil, and they always find a way to create a hole in the soil and then live there. So let's come to another one. This is grasshopper on grass field. Grasshopper on grass field. This place is also designed by nature for grasshoppers and some animals. There is no way fish can live on what? On grassland. There is no way fish can come and then or stay on grass field. I hope you get it. So this is also a natural place or a habitat for grasshopper. Okay, so what we are saying is that organisms that live in a habitat are called inhabitants. I believe I explained to you what an inhabitant is. So organisms that live in a habitat are called inhabitants. Very good. So there are different habitats in the ecosystem, and examples are rainforest, grass field, pond, sea, deserts. So all these, the rainforest is a habitat, grass field too is a habitat, pond is a habitat, sea is a habitat, desert is a habitat, meaning these are places where living things can live. And you should also understand that animals or living things that can live in the rainforest, it's not necessary that they can also live in what? Grass field. There are some animals that can live in the pond, but they cannot live in the rainforest. So all habitats have their inhabitants. All habitats have their special what? Inhabitants. Just as human beings. If I ask you to go and then live in trees for years, you can't. Some of you cannot even climb a tree. But monkeys, they can live there. Birds, they can live there. Yes, there are some animals that cannot live in the water bodies. They can't live in water bodies. So those animals are not designed to live in that place. So you should know that yes, there are different living organisms, and all organisms have their place where they live, their what? Habitat. I hope you get it. Very good. Okay, so now we are looking at some habitats and their inhabitants. Places and animals that live or survive in those places. So some habitats and their inhabitants. The first one is rainforest. So rainforest is a habitat. What animals do you think can be found in the rainforest? So examples of animals that can be found over there, we have what? Monkeys, we have birds, we have snake, we have deer, and more animals. I believe you can mention 2, 3, 4 animals or even more that can be what? Found in what? Rainforest. They live there because the trees provide shelter for these animals or these inhabitants, and they also get their food in the rainforest or in the forest. So the animals are there not because of anything. They are there because they will get food, and that place also provide shelter for them. Very good. The next habitat is grass field. The next habitat is grass field. So if you are asked to give examples of habitats, one is what? Grass field. And what animals can be found over there? Now we have these animals like grasshopper, snakes, grass cutters, insects, butterflies, and some other inhabitants can be found at the grass field. If you go to places where we have a lot of grass, you see snakes, you see grasshoppers, you see grass cutters, insects, butterflies. They all live there because they get food over there. That place too is good, it's convenient for them to live over there. So you should know that grass field is one of the habitats, and these are the animals that can be found there. The next one is what? Pond. So pond is a collection of water at a place. It is a habitat for fishes, frogs, alligators, crabs, and others. Fishes have nostrils, but they breathe through their gills and swim with their fins and tail. Very good. So pond is about a place where we can find water, or there's a collection of water at a place. And the animals that we can find in these habitats, we have what? Fishes, we have what? Frogs, we have alligators, we have crabs, and then we have other animals. Very good. You should also know that fish, they have nostrils, but they don't breathe through their nostrils. They breathe through their gills. Very good. The next habitat is what? Sea. So sea is a habitat for different animals like redfish, octopus, crabs, whale, sharks, and others. These animals are able to swim or move freely in the sea because of their body parts. So animals live in a place because they have features that help them to what? Survive in those places or in those areas. Very good. So the sea, not all animals can live in the sea. Not all animals can live in what? In the sea. So you should know. But there are some animals apart from the sea, there is no other place that they can what? They can live. The next word is what? Or the next habitat is what? Deserts. So it is a habitat that is very dry and only certain types of plants can survive in the desert. There is high temperature in this place. Inhabitants like the camel, scorpion, cactus plant, date palm tree, etc. can survive on the desert. So if you go to the desert, there are some animals that you can find, special animals that you can find because of the environment, the temperature over there. Not all animals can survive over there, but these animals are able to survive, meaning that the desert is designed for special animals. An example of animals that can be found over there, or inhabitants that can be found in desert, are what? Camel, scorpion, cactus plants, date palm tree, and the rest. Okay, so the next one, which happens to be the last for today, is what? Farmland. So different plants and animals live in farmlands. They get food and shelter from the farmlands. So if you go to the farmland, there are so many animals that you can find. They live over there because they get a place to live peacefully and they get food to what? To eat. So when you talk of habitats, we are talking about places, and inhabitants are living things that live in these places. Today we have learned about some habitats, and we have also looked at the inhabitants that can be found in these habitats. So the first one is what? Rainforest, and we have said that there are some animals that can be found over there. The next habitat is what? Grass field. There are some what? Animals and plants that we can find over there. The next one is what? Pond. So pond too is a habitat. There are some animals that we can find over there. We have sea. The sea too is a habitat. And in the sea, there are special animals that we can find there. Desert too has animals. Desert too has plants. There are some plants, they cannot live, they cannot survive on the desert. but there are some plants, they can live, they can thrive on the desert. Okay, so farmland also is a habitat, and we have animals and plants that can survive in farmlands. So these are some habitats that you should know, and I've mentioned the inhabitants. Inhabitants, I said that it could be an animal, it could be a plant that lives in a habitat. I hope you understand it. Very good. Okay, so let's continue. We are looking at how organisms live in their habitat. How organisms live in their habitat. So if you look at this is a fish. The name is what? Tilapia. Tilapia is a fish. It lives in a place, and it's able to live in some places, not all places. Now let's look at something here. The habitat for tilapia are rivers, ponds, etc. The tilapia cannot live in the sea because of the salt. Take notice of this. Tilapia cannot live in the sea. You cannot see tilapia, or you cannot get tilapia from the sea because of the salt. Tilapia has fins that enable it to swim. So tilapia, this animal, is able to swim because of what? The fins. Have you seen it? Very good. The gills enable it to breathe. This is the gill. So tilapia is able to breathe in the water. It doesn't breathe through the nostrils, but through here, the gills. So it enables it to what? To breathe. The scales protect it from injury. So the scales, something like rubber that covers the skin, that is the scale. So the scale protects what? It from what? Injury. All these features enable tilapia to live successfully. So if you see tilapia in water, it's because of these features that it has. If you see tilapia in river, in ponds, it's because of these features. Do you get it? So that is that. The next one is this. Look at this picture. What is this? It's what? It's a bird. It's a bird. Very good. Why is it that birds are found in the air? Or we found birds in trees? Now let's look at something here. Birds live on trees or in trees. They have wings that help them fly. Birds have hollow bones, meaning that their bones, there are empty spaces in their bones, and because of that they are able to what? Fly. It doesn't make them heavy. Okay, so their feathers are also light in weight. You know, birds have feathers. Their feathers are so light, so because of that, it doesn't weigh them down. They are able to control themselves in the air. Their tails help them balance their bodies. Their tail, this is their tail. So this is their tail. And these are the wings, and then the feathers. So because of this feature, they are able to what? They are able to fly. Birds are not heavy, and that is why they can fly. So the reasons why birds can fly is that they have feathers, they have wings. Even the bones that they have, there are spaces in it. They are empty space in their bones. So that is why we are saying their bones are what? Hollow. Because of these features, birds are able to what? To fly. Human beings, we can't fly. Goats cannot fly. Cow cannot fly because they don't have wings, they don't have tail, they don't have feathers that will enable them to fly. Okay, the next one is a frog, a fish. This question is very interesting. We find frogs in water bodies. The question is, the fact that frogs live in water bodies, does it mean that they are fish? Let's look at something. A frog is not a fish. Note this. A frog is not a fish. Fishes live only in water, but frogs can live in water and also live on land. Fishes breathe through their gills, but frogs breathe through what? Their skin and lungs. Frogs are amphibians. Amphibians are animals that can live on land and in water. Frog and fish are different. The fact that they all live in water bodies doesn't mean they are the same. Frog can live in water bodies and at the same time on land. Animal that can live in water bodies and at the same time can live on land is called what? Amphibian. So frog is an amphibian. All of you, amphibian. Again, amphibian. So amphibian is one. Amphibians are what? More than what? 1, 2, or more. So animals that are able to live in water bodies and at the same time on land are amphibians. Fishes cannot live on land. Fishes, there's no way tilapia can live in rainforests. Tilapia can live on deserts. But we can find frog on land. Frogs, they have nostrils, they have lungs, they have skin. When they are in the water bodies, they breathe through what? Their skin. But when they come out of water bodies, they breathe through what? Their nostrils. But with fish, they always breathe through what? Their gills. And they do it only when they are in what? Water bodies. They do it only when they are in water bodies. So you should know that a frog is not a fish. Very good. The next one. Why can't a fish live on land? Another interesting question. Why is it that fish cannot live on land? A fish is an aquatic animal and can only live in water. I'm taking it again. A fish is an aquatic animal and can only live in water. A fish cannot breathe the air in the atmosphere because it does not have lungs. It breathes through its gills. The gills can only absorb oxygen in water. And this is why a fish cannot live on land. So you see that fish have special features that doesn't allow or that do not allow them to live on land. When they come to the land, they have to breathe, and they cannot breathe through their what? Their gills on land because of the oxygen in the atmosphere. I hope you get it. But when they are in sea or in water bodies, they are able to breathe through what? Their gills. Okay, so we have seen that fish cannot survive on land because they don't have nostrils, they don't have lungs. Even the nostrils that they have, or the nose that they have, they are not able to breathe through. They use their gills to breathe. They don't have lungs. So it will be difficult for them to live on land. When they come to live on land, or when they come to the land, they can't stay there for a long time. Within a short time, if they are not sent or they are not able to get back to the water bodies, they will die because they will not get air to breathe. Very good. Now, so we are saying that ecosystem is made up of different habitats. The natural home of organisms is called what? A habitat. The sea, pond, farm, grass field, rainforest, deserts are all habitats. Organisms that live in the habitats are called inhabitants. Special features of organisms enable them to what? Live or survive in their habitat. So if you see animals living in particular places, you should know that they have something special, and those things are the reasons why they are able to live there. Today we have learned about habitats. We said that habitat is a place where living things what? Live. Organisms what? Live. The natural home for animals or for plants. That is habitat. Now we have also learned about inhabitants, and we are saying that inhabitants are the living things that live in a place, that live in the habitat. And okay, so the next one that you should also know, or we have learned, is what? Ecosystem. I said that the interaction between living things and their environment is what we call what? The ecosystem. You should also understand, there is one thing that you should know. All the habitats, they have animals or they have inhabitants. So you should be able to tell the kind of inhabitants that can be found in a particular habitat. So when you talk of pond, there are animals that can survive or can live in the pond. When you talk of farmland, there are animals that can live there. Farmland, we talk of sea, there are animals. We talk of trees, there are animals. So all these are what? Habitats. And all the habitats also have what? They are inhabitants. I believe you understand it. Very good. So at this point, I want you to take your time, go through the book. You can find them, yes, at page 83. Take your time, read. If you have questions, feel free. Put your questions at the comment section, and at the right time, I'll attend to the questions. Okay, so we are going to look at some exercises. The first exercise, or exercise 1, we are to underline the correct answer. Now let me read the first question. Question 1. The natural place where organisms live is called dash. A. Inhabitants. B. Ecosystem. C. Habitat. D. Environment. What is the answer? A natural place where organisms live is C. Habitat. Very good. Question 2. Animals that live in only water are dash animals. Animals that live in only water. A. Amphibians. B. Wild animals. C. Aquatic animals. D. Terrestrial animals. The answer is what? Aquatic. So aquatic animals are animals that live only in water. Question 3. A frog is an example of an dash animal. A. Amphibian. B. Wild. C. Desert. D. Terrestrial. So the answer, frogs are what? Amphibians. So the answer is A. Number 4. Which of these habitats has a lot of dry sand, high temperature, and only certain animals and plants can live there? So A. We have pond. B. Desert. C. Forest. D. Farmland. What do you think the answer is? The answer is what? Desert. Because desert, we have a lot of dry sand. The temperature is also what? Very high. And certain animals and plants can only survive there. Okay. Question 5. Which parts of a fish does it use to breathe? I have mentioned this. Which parts of a fish does it use to what? Breathe. The first one is what? A. Scale. B. Fin. C. Tail. D. The gills. The answer is what? Gills. So that is for question or exercise 1. We have exercise 2 here. We have exercise 3 here. Exercise 4 is here. Take your book and do them for me. Then the last one, which is the assignment, home assignment, you are to answer all. The first one says, explain why a fish cannot live on land. I have explained them to you. The second one, draw a bird in its habitat. Draw a bird in its habitat. So you are going to draw a habitat for bird. So you draw a bird and the place where it lives. So this ends our lesson for today. I believe you enjoy it. My name is Paul Williams Ofori Jr. Bye-bye.